The pirates. All right, girls. We have an important decision to make. The Vex crime family is no more. Its head is our prisoner. Its heir died in the takeover as well as all its sworn sisters. We own the assets. We own everything. The rank and file that are still alive are too scared to do anything, and we've won. Now what do? I'm in favor of simply taking over and sitting pretty. We play this smart, and we can have the start of a pirate fleet with this as our home base. The question is, are we ready for the big time? It's not a question of ready, Captain. It's, can we survive big time? A small ship that can screw off into any direction is one thing. A palace base? A private starport? That's one big target on us. One we have to either make them not want to take the shot or not know to take the shot. Either one is a huge problem. Mabby notes, the entire crew is here by either teleconference or in person. A decision like this goes beyond Captain. Not to mention there's the possible issue on our deal with the humans. I don't want to lose my husband over a base. If we can't have them, then I say we take the money and upgrade the ship as much as we can. If we can, though, that's where things get interesting. I think we could do big time. It'll be hard and take us recruiting a lot more girls. But it can be done. I've just gotten off a call with Admiral Cistern. So long as you're willing to help out if a call for battle shows up and are willing to do fair business with humans, then the deal stands. Adding more ships, though, will mean that he'll personally be meeting with the new captains to take their full measure before giving them an official EFL designation. That's his only caveat, Miles adds in. There's a glance to where he and the rest of the guys are sitting together. He posted 25 guys on Ashen Ducks. What makes you think that he'll have a problem with more stationary places? Considering that the universe is in motion, Franklin begins before Victor casually reaches over to clamp a hand over his mouth and shut him up. So we might get even more men posted here. I'm not seeing a downside. Big target hard to protect. That's the downside. We've used mobility and anonymity above all else to keep ourselves safe. This would be abandoning that altogether into trying to be the biggest, baddest bitches on the block. Can we do it? Agenda asks her crew. I saw what you did, Captain. There's no question we can kick all the ass, Jin remarks. She's only got some eye makeup and a light covering of white over her face, so she's honest but not completely serious. Is it enough is the big question, Mirage states from where she sits, somewhat visible due to not only the bell and collar they've forced the Cloaken to wear, but the full outfit and makeup as well. There had been a few too many friendly fire incidents due to her sneaking up on people. What are you talking about? Mercy demands her. Easy enough. Is it enough? Mirage asks before moving a hand visible due to painted nails and jangling bracelets through her visibly dyed head feathers. Trust a Cloaken about stealth, all right? We were using stealth before to keep safe, but there's a time for stealth and a time to take a stand. Do we have the muscle, the money, and the will to take the stand rather than run? Why not use the money? Jingay asks, and there's a bit of quiet. Jingay, honey? She has a point. The whole purpose of money is to be exchanged for goods and services. Sure, it looks nice and is nice to have, but the stuff it gets you is even better, Miles says. I've done the numbers crunching on that, actually. If we spend about half of it, we could easily shore up the defenses, hire enough security, and bribe enough people to make this place impenetrable to anything short of orbital bombardment, or an elite commando raid. Hell, we almost had to do that ourselves already, and we showed up under false flags, Mabby explains with a shrug. To be fair, we didn't do anything till they tried to kill us and back out of the deals, Miles adds in feeling somewhat attacked. Yes, but you came in ready for a hostile takeover and made it happen, Mabby remarks. I think we can do it. We're ready for the big time. We took care of a bigger and supposedly badder organization. Which reminds me, what are we doing with the Vex boss lady? Are we sure we want this to end like a cartoon and have her come back to screw with us after some kind of dramatic escape? Beck asks before thinking. Because I'm all right with that. It could even be fun, a great way to test our defenses and to let everyone know that we're not playing by the normal rules. And what rules are we playing by? Agenda asks him, and his cocky grin turns into a malevolent smile, and he licks his teeth as if savoring the flavor of what he's about to say. Ours? The word rings out and the smile spreads. The sheer possibility rushes by, and people begin thinking good and hard about what they want. Captain Lilpaw begins showing all her gleaming fangs in a gleeful smile at the thought and nodding. That settles it then. Ladies, gentlemen, this is your last chance to back out. We're going for all of it. This is just the beginning. We're expanding until we take this backwater world ourselves. Hell doesn't even have a seat on the council in Centris. We're taking it, and we're taking it hard. We're pushing out every gang and family from this planet until we own it, and then we make it legit. Who wants to conquer a planet? Agenda announces, and the crew cheers. The men, on the other hand, are staring at Miles, who's hooked up his communicator into the emergency channel of their link to the Dauntless. Yes, Admiral, planetary takeover, Vucha 5, it's way out in the galactic boonies. Think smack house in a ghetto, wasat, more reading material, infrastructure and jobs, and then booze and circuses, got it? Wait, what? In what circumstance could they possibly be more off the hook than taking a planet? Miles' whisper reports into his communicator. Okay, fair enough. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At once, sir. He closes his phone. And if it's pulled off well enough, then we'll get a full endorsement from the Dauntless and particularly Admiral Cistern. Why, if we were to take control of the world, then a human colony might spring up with all the men on it. Imagine that. Really? Let's look at this tactically. You girls are allied to the Dauntless and Earth. Therefore, any planet you take over would have that extended to it, and Earth is looking for potential colonies. This would be a place for rougher gents, but I think that would be appreciated around here. The whole planet is a mass of mini-continents in a shifting ocean. Good fishing, hell for those that like sailing, surfing, or swimming, it's a paradise. So tourism. The high mountains that each of the mini-continents are based around make perfect natural spaceports and inner atmosphere construction yards as well. Actually, there are some mining operations out here, but they tend to get leaned on pretty fast and heavy, so they dry up in a hurry. That's so stupid. If you skim light, you can skim more in the end, and... Gentlemen, Agenda asks, cutting off the rapid, whispered conversation. Something to add? She asks. We were just discussing all the possibilities of a planetary takeover. Long story short, the planet has a lot of potential, and so long as the ruling body isn't stupid about it, then there's a lot of money to be made all around. Especially if Earth gets interested into sending colonists. That's tempting. Agenda begins before the ceiling collapses down. For Lady Vex! A black-clad, fellid woman screams out to try and stab Agenda with a plasma sword. Spoon! Beck calls out in glee as he holds onto the assassin's tail and easily arrests her movement. His mental image of the tick burning strong and bright before he reefs her back and slams her into the table. Then back again to the side opposite, followed by another swing, then another and another for nearly a dozen iterations. Foul feline fiend, your ferocious failure of... Is there a word that starts with F that means violence? Beck calls up to the guys. Fighting, you gigantic tool, Jean-Luc calls out to him. Franklin quietly dies of muffled laughter right behind him and falls off his seat. Oh yeah, guess I went a little far being the wild blue yonder. Beck muses before slightly tossing the thoroughly bruised and dazed assassin a bit and yanking her back via the tail like a tetherball. He grabs her hands and holds them between his fingers. Well, that was embarrassing. Are there jail cells or something for this girl? Here, I'll show you the way, Franklin says as he picks himself up and makes his way to the exit of the room. Anyone else up there want to lodge a protest? Agenda calls up to the ceiling. Come on, I'm open, she teases. Two more forms drop down out of above, and their swings of their activating plasma swords are deflected by the weapon that Agenda picked off the ground when the first assassin was disabled. There's a pang and a bang as both Miles and Marcus move fast, Miles having shot one of the swords as it bounced off Agenda's and destroyed it. The other was knocked out of the assassin's hands by a thrown knife from Marcus. Nice throw, man. Miles compliments his friend as he keeps his gun trained on the two who are also being held, rather smugly, at plasma sword point by Agenda. Nice throw, nice shot, that was amazing. Marcus compliments him as they both stand up to drag away the newest prisoners. I've been practicing. Sniping is good fun, but not practical inside a spaceship, Miles admits as he pulls out a pair of zip ties. By the way, Agenda, my lovely, how much do we have in liquid capital now? All told, we have 18 billion credits in Axiom Ride trade bars, Agenda announced, and the entire crew grew quiet. A piercing whistle sounds out from Miles. So that qualifies as fuck you money, I take it? No, that qualifies as you're fucking me on the money before we have to spend it money, Agenda says before looking around and then grinning lasciviously. Shall we? Miles offers, and the grin turns into a smile. Yes, yes, I believe we shall, but in a bit. We need to prioritize, no matter how painful that is. Actually, the next real question is, can we make out on the cash? I mean, there's only so much room on the trade bars, and I want to have a freaking party on the loot, Mabby asks with a distant look in her eyes. Priorities. Are we taking the planet or not? There's a lot of work ahead of us and a huge number of enormous paydays ahead if we are. The Vex cartel made its fortune exploiting this world and its resources. If we want to stay on humanity's good side, we'll have to be something other than enormously greedy cunts. But if we manage that, then we get a whole planet and possibly a city filled with hunks. Love. Not all men are as well built as us. We're military trained to stupid high standards. There's a lot of soft-bellied and soft-minded idiots back home. That's even more tempting. You boys are hard to keep up with at times. Mercy chuckles. That sounds like it's settled then. Ladies, we're now a planetary cartel. Time to let the neighbors know. After Nookie. Come on, Miles, we're having fun.